Now, let's see what my panel thinks. Here with us is Wisconsin Republican Congressman Sean Duffy and attorney Scott Bolden. All right, Scott, let's start with you. Now, Avenatti was all about the women. You got to believe the women. The women. What does she have to gain? What do these women have to gain after Christine Blasey Ford got $1 million from GoFundMe? What does she have to gain? I think she had a lot to gain. Well, but what do we have to gain? These women. What would she have to gain by?
He's their lawyer, and
him?
He's advocating on their behalf, and he's articulate, he's telegenic, and he's fighting against
Trump. He has a heck of a right hook.
And no, that's not.
I'm joking. It's a joke. Come on.
But I'm pumped. No, because he's innocent until proven guilty. And with him and his clients, the women, he's got witnesses, he's got a complaining witness, and he's got corroboration. He's advocating for them.
He has a criminal referral, too, doesn't he?
Well, that's politically driven. The Republican chair of the Judiciary Committee referred it, and that's not going anywhere because his client had an affidavit that she signed. He didn't sign it.
So you think people should be able to accuse men with impunity?
She was mistaken, but you're going to take it a long way to say she lied. You're going to have to prove that, and that's hard in this country.
But aren't we still waiting for, like, Michael Avenatti's 2 witnesses he claims saw Brett Kavanaugh, Brett Kavanaugh put grain alcohol in a punch bowl? Why have witnesses?
Well, if the Senate Judiciary Committee would get to the truth and seek the corroboration, we probably would have talked to those
Scott,
2 witnesses.
Even you can't defend this Avenatti character at this point. I mean, I can stop digging on him. Stop digging on him.
Isn't it interesting, though, that Scott will come out and say, we need the Constitution and he's innocent until proven guilty.
Exactly.
Though for Republicans, we're guilty until proven innocent.
No, I don't believe that either. But I do believe Avenatti has clients who have made accusations against the president. They've got corroboration, and they're listening.
I mean, we can't relitigate Kavanaugh, but if they had
I'm talking about Stormy Daniels and Swetnick and others. When I say Swetnick, what I mean is they never did get corroboration because the committee never went for corroboration.
My God, if you're defending Julie Swetnick, the woman is literally
not defending her. I'm just reporting.
She is a nightmare. It is completely outrageous and false. And Kavanaugh is 2 words: life tenure. All right. Let's talk about this, though. Where does this go for the Democrats? Because they always complain, well, Republicans are willing to sell their souls for Trump, and they're believing these things they didn't used to believe. And, for Trump, I always believed in his views on trade and immigration, so it doesn't apply to me, but they say that. But what about this? This guy is a piece of work, whether this is true or not. I'd take all this allegation from yesterday off the table, just his other behavior and all the other stuff he's been through and done.
So first, I think the guy's a scumbag. The 3 of us are lawyers. He gives lawyers a bad name. That's why I don't say I'm a lawyer. I'm a prosecutor because we have such a bad reputation. But, I mean, here you have a guy. He's an attractive man. He's well-spoken. And you have a guy like that who's willing to be a pit bull against Donald Trump, and you'll have every liberal network put him on TV to bash the president, take down his judicial or his Supreme Court nominee. And when this story comes out, it is crickets. I thought it was fascinating what you played in the angle, which is you have CNN talking briefly about this story and back to Russia. Back to Russia. It's a Russia story.
4 seconds. Yeah. No, come on. I mean, we all have to admit, that was just so obvious. Like, Anderson was like, let's get off this story, like, now, okay? We've elevated him for months. Now we can't report on this. All right, these are Iowa voters, guys, who are reacting to a possible Michael Avenatti run for the presidency, and they actually seem pretty excited. Let's watch.
You potentially vote for Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Michael Avenatti?
I probably would, yeah. I'm going with Avenatti. I would lean that way.
Towards Avenatti?
Yes.
That was in August. I don't think he'll be doing those interviews anytime soon.
Yeah, maybe not. But politics and elections are about who you like. And voters vote for who they like regardless of their policies. He's an attractive candidate. He's got no political background or record, don't get me wrong. And I'm not sure he could make it through the Democratic primaries with so many other Democrats running. But it's an interesting story, but I don't think it has a lot of depth and substance to it.
Would you ever fail to pay your law partner like millions of dollars that your law partner is owed on a case? The judge ruled a $10 million verdict against Avenatti, cheating his law partner.
He's got baggage.
That's like cheating at golf times 100.
Would you ever vote for someone who's been accused of groping 20 women? Yes. GOP voted for Donald Trump. He's accused of lying. He's accused of lying on his taxes. You still voted for, not you, but the GOP voted for him. So why not Avenatti? I'm not a big fan of Avenatti.
But here's the difference.
But Donald Trump's proven that anybody can get elected.
Donald Trump had an agenda. Michael Avenatti is only anti-Trump, and that was the message of the Democrat Party, which is going to be Nancy Pelosi as well in the new Congress. Listen, this is all they run on, right? Is I'm anti-Trump.
This is a hard argument I'm making tonight. Go right ahead.
No, listen,
Okay.
it's an anti-Trump movement, and that's why people like he hates Trump and he gets great airtime. And
Well, it worked.
He could run for president.
It worked for some of these House seats. The Democrats took it for some of the House seats, and maybe they think they can win the presidency with it. And I don't think you've heard the last of Michael Avenatti. And I said innocent until proven guilty last night. And I said you can't believe someone just because they make an accusation, even though he didn't give that same courtesy to the other folks.
He was probably set up anyway.
Oh,
Don't say it.
Marion Barry line. Okay, one final thing. Ocasio-Cortez, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has said that she can't afford an apartment, Sean Duffy, in D.C. Yeah. I don't know what the congressional salary is. You probably know. What is it, 150 grand, something like that?
It's 174.
Okay, but she can't afford an apartment.
No, what's unique, though, is when I ran for Congress, I went 7 months without a salary. I had 6 kids, and I said, hey, I've struggled to pay my bills. And the left went wild, struggling, Sean Duffy. And now Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says she can't afford an apartment. It's like, oh, she's just a poor middle-class working girl from the Bronx. The coverage of her is just outrageous.
It is like this fawning.
Poor young Duffy and how they took
But I have a question, guys. But how many people had much money when they were there? I mean, you go to Craigslist, you have to live with a bunch of people, like everybody else.
But also, when you run for Congress, it's expensive, and if you don't work and you have 6 kids and you take 7 months off and your wife doesn't work as well. Here, I mean, listen, I had 6 kids and she had 6 pairs of shoes and had to get the 7th to
Okay, but let's be honest, though, Scott. Let's be honest, because Sean earned a lot of money with that log sawing thing that you did. I mean, the lumberjack sports. You won a lot of big prize money, okay? And
D.C. is an expensive town. We have stories of congressmen, and I think maybe one senator sleeping in their office because they couldn't afford 2 places. So what I don't understand about the media is what's the angle in making a big deal out of your challenge or her challenge? What does that mean? What do you want the readers to see?
Because the median income in the United States is like $51,000, and that's with 3 or 2 or 3 kids.
But she hadn't started yet. She hadn't started her job yet.
Let me be clear. This is before you start the job, right? Mine was before I started the job as well. And listen, I can't afford a nice little flower like that either.
Oh, my goodness. An attack on the Democrats.
All it is it's a version of, well, I had to walk to school 5 miles. And it's a version like, I only had one bathroom. How many bathrooms do you have growing up?
2.
How many do you have?
2. 11 kids.
1. I had 1 bathroom.
11 kids.
People.
I had 11.
And look how you've done now. Look how well you're doing now.
6 people in the house and 1 bathroom, and we all survived somehow. All right, guys, thank you so much.